everyone, this is Geoffrey Henderson. Thank you so much for coming to our YouTube channel. It is the love. We appreciate you guys being here today. Also, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we would really appreciate if you do that as well, since we need to have more followers, more subscribers on our It is the Love YouTube channel. We are on our way to 5,000 subscribers, and we want to try to hit that mark before the end of the year. That would be amazing. If not, then hopefully at some point during early next year of 2025. Anyway, today's topic that I'm going to be talking about is called Why Two Hardheads Will Never Get Along. For those who don't know what hardhead means, it basically means that, you know, you have a very strong mindset, you have your own opinion and you stick with it. You will never change your mind. No one can really control you. No one can really tell you what to do. No one can, you know, make you change your mind. You're very strong-headed. You're very hard-headed. Okay, you are basically a person who is very focused, wants to do everything his way or her way, and no one can tell you anything about that. And if you made up your mind, then you basically stick with it, and no one can tell you any other way. Okay, that's what a hardhead basically is. And the topic, like I said before, is why two hardheads will never get along. I mean, you can already picture that. You know, if you have two people at the very strong headset, you know, it's just going to be a recipe for disaster. And most of the time it is, you know, unless one of the person has common sense, a common knowledge of that one person has to give in order to work together. You know, it's all about being submissive, and it's about listening to the other partner and understanding the other partner and reason with the other partner in order to make common decisions or come to a common ground solution that both agree, or at least agree to disagree, but at least you have to kind of like give in. The reason why I believe that two hardheads will never get along, like if they're really like strong and opinionated and they can never change their mind no matter what, if you put two of those into the same box, okay, into the same cage, then, and they're supposed to be together in a relationship, you know, because in a relationship, you know, you have to communicate, you have to do things together. Sometimes you have a certain idea about certain things in life and the other person has a different idea. You know, maybe it could be anything very simple, like you know, how to decorate your room. You know, if one person wants to have it this way and the other person wants to have it the other way, just picture that idea. You know, there will be constant conflict, argument, discussions, and fighting about who wants to do what in the room, or who wants to decorate this and this, and I want to do it this way and I want to do it that way. And what happens is that after a certain while, it's just gonna continue to get worse and worse and worse. And what happens is that it will never get any better or any easier, you know. And if you're in a one, usually like at the very beginning of a relationship, everything is kind of rosy, and you kind of have this mentality, I could do anything for the person. And that even counts for the hard-headed person, because the hard-headed person, if he gets into a fresh relationship, usually, I'm not saying all the time, but usually you have this bliss feeling right now. You have this really nice excitement about the other partner right now, and you're willing to do a few sacrifices, you know, just to get into her pants. I'm sorry, I didn't say it like that, but you know, or basically get together with the other person. It counts for women or men, no matter which one it is. And you're willing to do sacrifice, but what happens is that you're not really showing your true identity. You are actually pretending to be somebody else who you're not. And we talked about that before, you know, that you have to be yourself when you go into a relationship. Don't try to pretend to be somebody else. But anyway, what happens is that at the beginning everything will go just fine and beautiful, and later down the line, when you kind of like get used to each other and you've been together for a couple of months, then slowly the real you is coming to the surface, and by the real you, I basically mean the hard-headed you. And the same thing goes for the other person as well, for your partner. You know, the real her comes out of her as well, and of the hard-headed her as well. So now things are over, the romance is over, the few months of bliss, maybe 6 months of bliss is over. Now reality starts to set in, comes into inflation, where we say that. And now what's happening is that you're going to having conflicts. You know, they may start very little here and there, but the more things you start to do together, the more things you start to plan. You know, maybe you have a certain plan. Maybe you want to go on vacation and you want to really go to Rio de Janeiro, and the other person don't like Rio de Janeiro, you know, and always says, I always hated Rio de Janeiro, I don't want to go there, I always wanted to go to Egypt. So what happens is that you have the first conflict, you know, where basically you want to go this way, you want to go that way. And this, like I said before, it can come in so many different ways, you have no idea. It could be like the literal stinks, especially if you're a person who's extremely picky about things in your house. You want things a certain way, you want to clean certain things, you want to have certain things organized in a certain way, and the other person doesn't like that at all. You're going to have conflicts in every area, you know. And this is what I personally believe, that if you are a hard-headed person like that, and both of those, that you will have conflict over conflict over conflict, and you will never get along. And you know, the key to really resolving this is to recognize your situation. You know, you are no longer two, you are now one person, you are a team, you're a partnership, and you have to learn to do things together, you know, unless you want to kind of live like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you know, we're both living in a different world. You know, she has her own area and he got his other area, and they're living in two different lives, even though they're living together and they don't talk with each other. They just maybe have a meal and they talk with each other, a few words, and then they move on to the different way, you know, move on in their own way. What kind of relationship is that? That's not a relationship. That's just, you know, two separate lives living together, but living two separate lives, you know. So we're talking about a real relationship, okay? We're talking about a relationship where people are supposed to be together. And the key really is to know your position. It is so important that when you are in a relationship, that you have to be able to make, compromise for each other. You have to make sacrifice for each other. You have to willing to do something for the other person that you don't want to do. You know, you have to think about, you know, what do you want? Do you want to go there? You know, one thing I can talk about is that my baby and me, we had a date last night, and we went to dinner, went out, and she really wanted to go to a seafood restaurant. And I personally don't like seafood. You know, I really don't like seafood, but I was willing to say, let's go there because I want you to go where you want to go. And I was looking at the menu, and basically I saw a few items on there that were non-seafood, and I said, okay, let's go there. So we went there, and we got to the place, and then we saw another restaurant right across on the other side. It was a Mexican restaurant. And we kind of like talked very kindly to each other and said, oh, baby, we should check it out over there. But I said to my baby love, well, I thought you wanted to go at seafood, you know. And then she was like, oh, let's just check over there too, you know. And we were willing to compromise each other's need, you know. It was in a very beautiful, natural way. And we decided to just check it out first, the other restaurant, because it was right next to the seafood restaurant. We went right there and we checked it out, and it was a nice restaurant. Looked really nice on the inside and very decorative and nice colors and waterfalls everywhere. So we went inside, we looked at the menu, and guess what? They had seafood in there as well. So we kind of decided to go there, and because it kind of like served both of our purposes. You know, Sherry was able to eat seafood, even though she didn't do it at the end of the day. But anyway, but it was a beautiful, how can I say, a beautiful communication. You know, we were willing to do for the other person instead of thinking about ourselves. We were very considerate about each other. And I think this is how it's supposed to be in a relationship. You have to have this. Otherwise, you will not get along down the line when you're in a long-term relationship, especially when you're married. You don't want to do that, okay? So this is my personal opinion. You know, that two hardheads will never get along. You have to learn to show consideration for your partner, no matter who you are, whether you're the male or the female, it don't matter. Both of you guys have to do that, because if you don't have that, there are scenarios where two hard-headed people can get along, and but it is never romantic from a third person's perspective. It'll never be that. You know, you always see this, oh gosh, look at them, always like arguing, and I see this conflict all the time. Who wants that? You know, they may be fine with that, but it doesn't look nice to the outside. And I know it's not about other people, what they think. It's about, as long as you guys, you know, make it work. I understand that. But still, you know, a relationship is supposed to be also a reflection, especially when you're married. You know, we're supposed to show the connection, the character of the relationship with us and God. And we should reflect this in our relationship. So it is all about, yes, it is all about being together and being united and being in harmony, but it is also supposed to be a picture for other people. And you want to show a positive picture towards other people, seeing that you have a beautiful relationship. And that's, I think that's also very important. Okay, so that's my personal opinion, guys. If you like what you heard, I would really appreciate if you make a thumbs up and like this video, subscribe to this video. I would really appreciate that. And if you have not shared it with anybody, we would also appreciate if you would share it as well with other people. Okay, with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. We love you all. Peace out.